You mentioned this before that, and I know you have a lot of expertise in this, is helping legal professionals recover from a professional setback. This is something I'm sure a lot of attorneys can relate to, but don't necessarily want to talk about. So I want to ask you if you can talk a little bit about your experience helping lawyers overcome these sorts of setbacks, and share some advice for any attorneys who might be currently dealing with this in their careers.
It's something I talk a lot with my clients about. It's something I've talked a lot with colleagues over there. Something I've shared when I've had professional setbacks and I've needed somebody to listen and support me in that. I think that, as I said earlier, professional setbacks, failures, missteps, hiccups, they happen. That's just a fact of life. It's also a fact of being in a very high stress, very high demand profession. A good example is getting a tough evaluation. I often hear from people that they thought they were doing really well on a path in their firm, in their company, in whatever environment they're in as an attorney, but they have an evaluation that really gobsmacks them. I mean, just honestly, it wasn't what they were expecting. They thought they were going to be getting the same good evaluation they got last year, but this year maybe they've gotten some different feedback. You need to improve your technical skills, or you need to be a better communicator with the team and helping with team management at the level that you're at now. And we're not seeing those skills. People often worry about how do they react to it. I think one thing is to just really listen to the feedback. It's okay sometimes to say, I'd like to think about this, and then maybe come back to you and discuss this some more. That's a great way to take some time to absorb, maybe ask your peers, is this feedback that you got at a certain point in your career? Is this feedback that you've gotten from this particular supervisor or this partner? What do you think about my work? Maybe somebody else that knows you well. And really absorb that and then think about how to go back with that. Trying to address what happened with any setback, is that valid feedback? When the client decided to move on to another firm, was that because of something that we could have done differently? Or is it because of a conflict that is just unavoidable? Is it because the memo didn't turn out as well as they liked? What could we do to address that in the future? A little bit of causal analysis, trying to look at what the issue was. But I think also being open to, sometimes people have a professional setback and they say, I just feel so paralyzed around that, and I feel that it wasn't justified. I really encourage people to think about what was not justified, what was real, what was not valid, and to seek some feedback on whether that's true or not, and to really look at it. I have a client, a great example of this is getting the feedback that they were having trouble connecting with the team. As we worked through that issue, one of the things we identified was that this client was not very present in the office and was not always working with the team to update them. And different team members felt sort of disconnected, maybe had part of the information, but not all of it. We talked about whether it might be helpful to do a weekly team meeting so that everybody was on the same page. And the client had never done something like this before. It had really been a one-to-one relationship with team members. But that really seemed to transform the communication. And she also asked the team for feedback as to whether that was helpful to them, which they said that it was. And they had some also thoughts about maybe we could do it once a month in person. I think getting feedback not only from the people that you work for, but the people that work for you can also be instructive in that regard.